The UNOCT Programme on Parliamentary Engagement in Preventing and Countering Terrorism was established through an agreement signed between UNOCT and the Shura Council of the State of Qatar in 2020 and officially launched in 2021.
The creation of the UNOCT Programme Office on Parliamentary Engagement in Doha, State of Qatar, is an important milestone in the United Nations' efforts to promote a whole-of-society approach in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism, as and when conducive to terrorism.
UNOCT Programme Office on Parliamentary Engagement is unique, insofar it is the first global center specifically tailored to work with parliamentarians from across the world to build their capacity and strengthen partnership, focusing on, together, countering terrorism and preventing violent extremism. Through our program, we help parliamentarians to ensure a balanced implementation of the United Nations Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy and of any other relevant resolution.
Parliamentarians, with their legislative oversight and representative functions, are critical partners in achieving our collective goal to counter terrorism and prevent violent extremism.
Through our program, we focus on 4 key areas. Firstly, we build the capacity of parliamentarians worldwide in their efforts to counter terrorism and prevent violent extremism. For instance, in December 2021, we organized a roundtable discussion for Central Asian countries on the role of parliamentarians in the implementation of national action plans for addressing terrorism and violent extremism conducive to terrorism. Secondly, we provide technical assistance to national parliaments of member states for the development of counter-terrorism legislation. This year, we have expanded the technical legislative assistance provided to member states in Africa and Latin America. Thirdly, we design tools, conduct research, and exchange good practices for parliamentarians on counter-terrorism and prevention of violent extremism. In February this year, together with our partners, we launched the Model Legislative Provisions for Victims of Terrorism. We are also developing a compendium of existing good practices and recommended legal provisions on data protection rules, a counter-terrorism parliamentary guide to facilitate the implementation of the United Nations Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy, and a parliamentarian's handbook on implementing United Nations Security Council Resolution 1373. Fourthly, we facilitate cooperation and coordination among parliamentarians and their assemblies as well as with United Nations entities and member states. Thus, to promote inter-parliamentarian cooperation, in September 2021, we held the first Global Parliamentary Summit on Counter-Terrorism jointly with our partners in Vienna, Austria. We also conducted the first Counter-Terrorism Coordination Meeting of Parliamentary Assemblies. This led to the establishment of the Joint Strategic Coordination Mechanism to improve collaboration among parliamentary assemblies, the United Nations, and parliamentary bodies on counter-terrorism.
In all of our efforts, we promote whole-of-society, whole-of-government, human rights compliant, and gender-responsive approaches. This year, among other priorities, we are planning to initiate a global forum of women parliamentarians and establish an international network of young parliamentarians on counter-terrorism and prevention of violent extremism. We also aim to raise awareness on terrorist threats in Africa to support African parliaments in their efforts to counter terrorism and prevent violent extremism conducive to terrorism.
Together, we can bring about a better future. A future without terrorism.